Hey guys, STTM here, and today we are doing the play-in slash playoff prediction. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoy as well. Yeah, we're just doing this play-in prediction. Sorry about that. But anyways, before I get into it though, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, put on notifications, and comment on this video. Helps me get more recommended on YouTube's feed and people's feeds on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, supporting the channel if you do so, which I appreciate. But now, I'm gonna go stop with this Japanese and get straight into the video. Goodbye! So, start off with the Eastern Conference play-in, which hopefully y'all can see right there. I might have to scroll down a bit so you guys can go see that. Now you guys can see. Okay. Sixers, Heat, and Bulls versus Hawks. Sixers, Heat. I think the Sixers will win. We're going to start off with this game. I like how Maxi's been playing. Embiid, Paul Reed could do something behind Embiid as well. I think Nick Nurse can get them a win in the play-in, which would then get them versus the 2 seed New York Knicks. That's insane. But yeah, 8 games win streak in their last 8 games of the year, so they're coming into the play-in with a strong win streak and also the strong last 10 games record. So that's strong. I keep saying that one so much. Oh my god. But yeah, I like that personally. And then Bulls, Hawks, I'm definitely going for the Bulls. The Hawks are both teams are rebuilding, but the Hawks are more of a rebuilding team than the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion. So also, I don't really know if anybody could do anything outside of Trae Young. Jalen Johnson could try to step up inside the playoffs, see what he can do. Young, nice player. Now it goes the Heat and the Bulls. Let's load in the Heat roster and the Bulls. Let's load in. We'll see the stats, but before I do, I think this match, not gonna lie, if this were to happen in the plan, I think it honestly could go either way. Like, the Heat could be good enough to get that last 8 seed. I think the Sixers win versus the Heat no matter what. The Heat could be good enough. The Bulls could pull off an insane kind of upset like that. I think personally it's Miami. They have a lot of impact guys like Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, maybe Tyler Hero could do something. The Bulls, I just don't know. DeRozan's getting older. Kobe White, I don't think will I think he'll show himself, but I don't know. I just think that Miami will beat Chicago. So next up, we're gonna move down to the West Conference play-in. Now, first game, we got the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if the Kings are necessarily screaming playoffs, but the Warriors are screaming less playoffs. So I think the Kings will do it. Like Fox, he's a fast player. You know, he plays with speed. Obviously, he's the fastest player. He's the fastest player in the NBA today. Curry's good. Kuminga's good. Klay Thompson doesn't really do much for you. Podziemski can be good, I guess, but I don't think there will be much going on for Golden State, so I think I got Sacramento pulling it off. I like the Kings better in this game. I think they want revenge from last year when the Warriors upset them as the 6 seed, and also when they were like 3 seed. So I think the Kings would want revenge from Golden State, and I think Coach Mike Brown will realize that. Next up, Pelicans Lakers. I definitely have the Pelicans. Honestly, this is another could go either way. Sorry, Alexa just talked for some reason. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. But 49 win, New Orleans Pelicans. 5-5 with their last 10 games going into the play-in isn't necessarily the best thing in the world, but the Pelicans, they have a lot of great young guys who I think could step up behind the bench. Zion, I think, could be pretty good versus the Lakers. CJ McCollum has been pretty good this season as well. So, yeah, I got the Pelicans moving on, take on the 2 seed Nuggets, but they do not. I feel like they would have lost on purpose because they wouldn't really want to run into someone like Denver. I feel like so. I'm actually gonna change this pick. Like It's a lot tougher to run into Denver compared to Oklahoma City or Minnesota, I feel like. Now sure, the Thunder are the 1 seed and the Nuggets are the 2 seed, but I just feel like it is definitely, and I mean a definitely tougher environment in Denver compared to Oklahoma City and Minnesota. So that's why I think the Pelicans would let themselves give up an L. And then I think they definitely win versus the Sacramento Kings. So then, speaking of, since we're still at the West, I think this is where we start. Next up, Thunder Pelicans. I think the Pelicans will win in 7. I think Game 1 goes to Oklahoma City. 2 and 3 go to New Orleans. 4 OKC. 5 OKC. 6 New Orleans. And then 7 New Orleans. They're definitely the dark horse, like Cinderella kind of team. I think that's definitely them. Thunder, not much experience, so they're not really used to being this high seeded in the playoffs. Denver, I think, beats Los Angeles. Then the 7th seeded Los Angeles Lakers. And then which I think for like the series, it'll be 4 games to 1. I think the only game the Lakers win is probably like game 3. I got the Timberwolves sweeping the Suns. Like you need depth in big games like those 4 games in the playoffs or 5, 6, or 7, depending on what would happen. But since the Suns don't have that, I mean the Timberwolves don't necessarily have the most amazing depth either, but the Suns definitely don't have that. So I think they would lose, and then I think the Clippers will do it versus Luka and the Mavs. Now, 3-game losing streak going into the playoffs isn't necessarily an amazing sign that your team is showing, but I think the Clippers could actually be pretty good. You got Kawhi, PG 13. Harden's actually doing pretty well, I'd say, in my opinion. Russ, he's not bad. I mean, the depth is a bit underrated. Like, hold on, I'm gonna load in Clippers, right? I'm gonna show y'all some guys, okay? I'm gonna show y'all some guys that could do that could do stuff for the Clippers, okay? I'm gonna show y'all them. Kawhi, Zubac, 9.2 rebounds, and the averaging a block per game stat as well shows that he could play. Norman Powell's been like that. See, Terrence Mann, to be honest, is kind of becoming somebody like Norman Powell. Same with Bones Highlands right here. Bones Highland right here. Center depth are, I guess, is all right. Like points per game isn't the only stat. So Daniel Tice and Mason Plumlee are down there as well. See, so I'm showing you guys like this team actually does have a decent core. You got your star players, obviously, like Kawhi, PG 13, and Harden, but you also have everybody else too, who I think actually can contribute well with these guys. I think Tyronn Lue is figuring something out finally for once. So then it goes to Pelicans, Clippers. By the way, I think this is like a 4 games to 2. The Clippers win in 6 or something. And then I think the Clippers would sweep the Pelicans. I think the run for the Pelicans will probably end after a second round. They're definitely the biggest dark horse kind of team I've heard. Yeah, seriously, like I've actually heard like a lot of the other YouTubers talk about the Pelicans being a big dark horse, but I don't know if they could match up a team like Denver, Minnesota, or even LA. They definitely could versus Oklahoma City in that first round, but in the second round, you definitely run into one of these three, which I don't think the Pelicans could pull off. Now, the Clippers, I think, will play the Nuggets. I might have a bit of bias because I do root for the Nuggets, but I think it's gonna be like 4 games to 2. Jokic, Murray has been pretty good too, so I think he will. I think he could do something, and then I think Denver will beat LA 4 games to 5. All right, then we got the East Conference. I got the Boston Celtics beating the Miami Heat. The Heat beat the Celtics last year, but I don't think the Celtics are a team you could pull the same exact kind of Cinderella on. The Heat do have young guys like Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic who are actually pretty good, but still, sure, Celtics depth isn't really that good outside of Derek White, but yeah, Celtics will pull that off. I think the Knicks will actually win versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Sure, I saw them doing really well versus the Heat. I just don't think that well versus the Heat translates to versus the New York Knicks. This is a sweep, by the way, for Celtics Heat. I think Knicks Sixers is going to be a sweep. I feel like I don't know, man. I don't think the Sixers could do it. The Knicks, I just love that chemistry between the Villanova teammates like Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo. Uh, Ananobi could be decent. Their depth is really good. Milwaukee versus Indiana. I actually have Indiana pulling off the upset. The Pacers. I like what Halliburton's doing. I like their chemistry between each other. Now, sure, Milwaukee depth is also really good, but Indiana is a young team, and I think they will definitely prove to people what they can be. Like if I was Rick Carlisle, I mean he's won a title before. Rick Carlisle, you've won a title before, and Doc Rivers' playoff luck isn't necessarily been the best thing. Cleveland Cavaliers, Orlando Magic. I definitely think I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. 4-6 in last 10 going into the playoffs isn't really amazing, but I just don't see too much experience in Orlando. Same with Indiana, but I think Indiana's scenario might be a bit different. Cleveland. So next up, I think New York will be Indiana, and then Boston will beat Cleveland, and then my finals will be the Knicks and the Celtics for the Eastern Conference. Brunson has definitely been really good, but I don't think he could take you that far just yet. Like he's getting to the career point he wants to be in, but I just feel like he isn't necessarily there yet. He's getting there, but he's just not there yet. Like some amazing practice run in the off season would be very good for Brunson, but I just see this amazing starting lineup. Like they all can work together. I mean, just Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Drew Holiday. They all have chemistry on in that starting lineup, and the rested guys going into the ending parts of the season have looked pretty well. I mean, Jordan Walsh can show himself as a decent young guy. I feel like so then it would be the Boston Celtics versus the Denver Nuggets. This is my finals prediction, the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Now, I would love to give my Denver Nuggets this win, but I just feel like the Boston Celtics will do it. Their core, once again, it's very good. It's a championship level core. I think Joe Mazzulla will figure it out. 7-3 versus 6-4 in the last 10 games entering the playoffs. 7-3 is obviously a better record than 6-4. And well, I just feel like this time, like the Nuggets literally were against the 8 seed last year when they won the finals. But I'm gonna give this one to the Boston Celtics. I hate to see my Nuggets lose the finals, but I mean, at least we made the final. At least we made the finals 2 years in a row. So I would be happy that in this exact playoff scenario. Now, this is actually pretty realistic compared to real life, I feel like, but I just see Boston beating Denver. So, yeah, that is the STTM NBA play-in and playoff prediction. Play-in is literally a couple days away, and the playoffs also are getting close by. Past the regular season, this is your group of every team for each conference. Now, my thoughts on the structure of NBA playoffs as play-in. Now, the play-in at the time I've heard has been like a very goofy idea. Like people laughed at it, kind of like how some people don't really like the in-season tournament. That will get better over time, just like how the play-in is definitely getting better over time. I mean, the 18 playoff honestly looks really boring compared to now where we have the play-in. So yeah, STTM is now out. See y'all next time. Road to 50 subs.